Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the daily routine where we're going to review today's economic calendar, major equities indexes from around the world, the S&P 500 charts in 4 different time frames, then the S&P 500 volatility intraday with the daily close, new highs and new lows from both the S&P 500, from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, as well as the big futures, VIX futures, sectors, and total equity returns from around the world. So first thing is we open these links. You can find this link in the description. Is bit.ly/m/R-UTINA. That's rutina in Spanish. So first of all, today is the 19th at 8:30. We have housing starts and permits in the US. The data that is going to be delayed on international trade. Then speaks Atlanta Petroleum. So it's a Wednesday. We have data from Petroleum and auctions from the 4 months and 20 years. That's important. And then the Fed minutes at 2 p.m. What's had happened? We mentioned yesterday the weakness on the equity indices from around the world has been constant for 2 or 3 weeks, right? You can see the drops here. We were looking for consolidation, but now, so far, it is true that earnings can change this very quickly, but so far, we see some weakness. S&P 500, yesterday, it has tried to test the lows, it was rejected, and today is looking good, at least at the close level of yesterday, not lower than yesterday's low. At this area, you can see this is when the Trump announced extra tariffs. We could retest that area soon if we don't turn around before the end of this week. Month to date, the S&P 500 is minus 3.2 as of the close of yesterday. 3 weeks in a row down, right? Now the monthly candle is closing at the low, which is not great. The quarterly candle is retracing from the high. It's not that bad, right? What are we having in here? So for the last 4 days, 3 of them has been down and a strong down, except one that was almost flat, right? We're taking this into consideration. Yesterday, we had new lows. So this is new highs in New York Stock Exchange minus new lows. So we have 153 companies trading lower. In NASDAQ, we have 344. Similar values for the last 4 days. You can see NASDAQ has a little 5th day here, but for the 4 days, similar values. VIX now had a spike. We remember at 20, we felt very comfortable. Now at 20, near the 25, it's a different story. Gold is not trading higher. It's around 55, right? Crude is around 13. S&P 500 is retracing. Now we are around 12.5 in the year. Here we have, so the year is still a very strong year. Many equity indexes above 5, 10, 20%. Some of them, because this chart shows in dollar, are about 40%. Argentina is the only one down year to date, together with the 10-year in Japan. Relevant. So in the last 2 days, this is where we look for weakness and strength. We have Nikkei minus 3, silver minus 3, gold is about flat in the last 2 days, minus 1 in the last week, last 5 trading days. Bitcoin in the last 2 days is not that much down, but in the last week it's about 10. In the last 90 days, about 20% down. So there is some weakness here. Nvidia, and this is where we say, hey, it can change the sentiment of the market. In the last week, it's about 6%. Year to date is 35% positive. Bitcoin is about flat year to date. With that, we move to the live data. Let's review the daily chart. And remember what we mentioned. We have this triangle here, and we say, hey, we are probably going to consolidate inside of the triangle. We did not do that. Yesterday, tested the base of this triangle, rejected it, and went all the way to 6,600, which is this level, the high, right? You can see this line was already there before it touched it. What do we have here? It's very technical bounce, right? So are there really sellers in control? Of course they are. They're trending down. If this was a very selling pressure, it would not turn around like this, right? It will continue. Today, we are having a positive day, closing near this, trading, not closing, trading about this congestion area we mentioned. Okay, it was rejected here. Let's see if we go back into the triangle, or we use this base to consolidate and trade lower from here. Let's see real-time data and overnight price action. And this is what we have. Yesterday, right at 10, we marked the low on the S&P 500 for the session, and exactly at 10, we did the same thing at the NASDAQ. From there on, it traded higher to overnight closing prices. It then, in the last half an hour, it just went back. Overnight, we tried to go higher. We did not go higher. Tested to the lows around midnight, New York. And from then on, is trading a bit higher. And it would be positive if we can trade. We can put some trading action in this area here. I was joking a few days ago. I've been using this platform so many years, but there's room for improvement. So if we trade around this ellipse during the day after the New York Stock Exchange open, that's positive. We will retest this. If we bounce and retrace, of course, the bears, we have to count into the bears being in control. If we trade higher, this could be area of support, taking October open prices and consolidating over there higher than that. It is true that the NASDAQ has been leading down. It's a bit weaker than the S&P 500, right? And there is more room to go. You see how far is the tariffs, the day of the tariffs is. The YM, this is why I thought, okay, this is not going to translate into a big sell-off, because the YM was showing strength, but now in the last 4 days, it did not. So far, it bounced in this congestion area right at the low of this box. We could open weak internals and then translate on something similar than yesterday. What happened yesterday? So if we go to the Discord, you can see the picture of the internals yesterday. Let me do that for you and show it here. Go to Discord, intraday. This is the picture that was posted at 33, so three minutes after the open, where we had a negative volume in both New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Some sectors were positive right after the open, but then they turned negative, 9:45. And the continuation of selling pressure here on the ES. It is true, improve a little bit later, and let me show you what happened. So this is probably 910. This is the 10 candle when it was the low of the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. The internals improved. They have another try weekend at 1130, and let's see how that translated. 1130 on the NASDAQ. So 1130 in the NASDAQ was here, 1115. So this is the low at 1130, right? And this is when it tried to go lower, 1115 to the low of 1130, then return and try to close higher. So here we have volume entering, and here this second push, this is the low at 10, the second push at 1130, and realize that we open positive, right? So sorry, we close positive on the day. Ticks were trading in both sides of the zero line, right? We had minus 1000 at 1130 plus 1000 in the same candle. So this was the reversion of the day at 1130 exact. At 1130 exact, the next candle have a little wave, but then it collapsed during the last hour after two. This is two, okay, actually a little more, 2 to 3, right? And okay, this is Chicago time. Okay, so this right now it's 5. Yeah, this is Chicago time. 8:30. And that's all. I don't have that much more to say. Be open. The bears should be in control. But if bulls want to show strength, this is a good place to show strength. Because what do we have? A low yesterday, right? A low that was not taking overnight. Right? And now we want to see if we make a new high above this level. Right? Let me move this. We want a new high around this level, then a retracement, hold it, right? And then push higher if there is strength. If not, this area might look as a resistance and trade lower. If we don't even get to this area, it's clear. I mean, bears are in control, right? The trend might be determined in the first hour of the trading session. But remember, yesterday it was like down significantly until 10, right? So from 8:30 to 10 Chicago time, and from 10 to the close, there were 2 weeks up that they would take your stop. You know, you would have to take. It wasn't a day to buy the open and or to buy the low, or try to buy the low and hold it. It was not like that, right? Today, if internals open positive and this low is not retested, if this price action is not retested, then it might be a stronger day, right? So far, let me go to the main news, and with that I conclude. And the main page, the news for the last 24 hours, we're looking for a catalyst or news that can alter the current view or sentiment of the market. Anthropic commits $30 billion. US Congress approves release of Epstein's files. Okay, this is not really market moving events. Let's go to markets. Nvidia, European market slides. Okay, we could do that. Review how overnight they're doing. Bubble breakout on Nvidia. Oils, 1% transactions. Oil. Okay, and then if we go to companies. Red Earth, EU, US stock steady in lead up to Nvidia test, target. See, not really I mean, let's see how Nvidia. Mostly negative. Okay. And that's all.